Welcome to Victory Tuesday on Sunday Night Football with Bengal Jim and Friends, guys. Jamie James, guys, I didn't sleep all night. I'm excited about this victory last night. Big win, unexpected victory in Cincinnati over the dreaded Pittsburgh Steelers.
Victory Tuesday. We haven't had the opportunity to say that too often this year, and as you said, what a surprise! I think everybody watching the game was just waiting for the Bengal epic collapse, and it never happened. Kudos to the team for pulling one out on national television on Monday Night Football, and we had a good time pregame and early Christmas present for all the Bengals fans.
Absolutely. Jamie, were you watching in Canada? Did they have TVs up there with this game on or not?
Yeah, man, come on now. I mean, the only negative about last night, it was just the fact that I wasn't able to be there for the win. It would have been nice to be at Paul Brown and under the lights Monday Night Football and beat the Steelers, but next year.
Yep. Well, guys, hey, we got a lot of stuff going on here tonight, but I do want to start. We're going to do our charity duck race, and we're focusing on Toys or Tots. We'll hit that here in a minute, but we have 16 people or 16 spots that have been taken. There are 4 more spots available. So if you would like to get one of those last 4 spots, you'll have to go on Facebook or Twitter. The links are there. Make your donation to Toys or Tots. And once you make that donation and get your receipt, send a screenshot, direct message me on Facebook or Twitter, or if you have my text, my cell, send me a screenshot of that and we'll add you. So we're going to do that before Pickens comes on here. Pickens will probably be on around 8:30ish. So we have 4 more spots for the charity duck race, and Tony the Tiger and Carrie got this 70s era white jersey from Ken Anderson autographed, and we got the certificate authenticity. Can't pronounce, I can't speak, but we've got that ready to go. That will be given away to the winner of the duck race this evening.
Did you change from last night, Jimmy? Or are you in the same clothes? I mean, the Christmas lights are the same around your neck. I know that.
So if you remember, I had the orange jersey with the black Cincinnati. I needed more orange in the stadium. I knew there might be some Steelers fans. And I do want to give it like a PSA right now. If you're going to go to a Monday night game and get to the tailgate lot early, make sure you eat breakfast. Make sure you eat lunch. And don't drink 4 of Del Hall 16 lot beasts that are like 10% alcohol. Yeah. I missed the week before, guys. All right. I was just doing some catching up. But the game was great. Tailgate was awesome.
Yeah, we had a
game, just so you know, in case you missed the end. We ended up winning.
We had an impromptu bonfire. We had COVID vaccine shots. I mean, there was a lot going on.
There was, and we got to give a
shot. I'm kind of curious.
COVID vaccine shot. Well, Miss Carrie, Tony's wife, who's we're going to call her a nurse for all practical purposes, had this concoction, and we all took them, and we're all vaccinated now. It's just like magic. Christmas miracle.
Awesome.
We've got to give a shout out to Chris, the cookie girl.
You didn't eat yours yet?
Kids are not getting my damn cookies this time. Last time I ate them all, I didn't even get one. But
she had ornaments on the tree. The only other thing allowed on the tree other than 16 lots cans. You should have seen Dell last night, Jamie. He was just hawking the tree, walking around it like it was like Fort Knox, just making sure no other cans, especially Bud Light cans, went on that tree.
Had to be 16 lots only.
And I guess while I'm thinking about it, and they're non-16 lots drinkers for whatever reason, we'll wish a happy belated birthday to Hannah. Miss Hannah Walsh celebrated, I don't know, what is she, 22, 23, Jimmy?
It's 21, something like that.
21, yeah. Just a spring chicken. So happy belated birthday.
Brandon's like, her boyfriend is like 40 years old. She's like 20. I don't get it.
He's working tonight. He said he's going to have to watch the show on tape delay. So this will be a nice surprise when he tunes in and sees this.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he's already getting text messages. So I guess I don't know where you want to go into. So is Hans in the studio right now?
He is.
Okay, let's before we bring him on, let's do this. So if you guys remember last week, we talked about the tailgating Hall of Fame, and there's a couple, 2 or 3 tailgates from each NFL franchise that are in this tailgate Hall of Fame. So we're going to take 5 minutes and and have Dell Hall kind of induct us into the Tailgate Hall of Fame. We had other guys in our group that were going to be on the screen. None of them, all of them are kind of a little shy. So I don't think anybody else is going to be coming on, but it'd be James and I on here for this thing. So
well, Santa Craig had an accident.
Yeah. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and bring on Hans.
All right. Sorry, 1 second.
And don't forget, you can still send those money into. Oh, he's got a Bengals jersey on.
Yeah.
4 spots left for that Kenny Anderson jersey. Send Jimmy a note so we can do the duck race here a little bit later in the show.
Dell, I'm saying Dell. Gee, Hans, look, they came in the mail.
Oh, that's awesome.
Today. So James doesn't has his. He will get. We'll get it to him next game. But these are really nice. So tell us what we're getting in here, brother. We're pretty excited about it.
Okay. Well, as you said, I am Hans Steiniger, founder of the Tailgating Hall of Fame. It was founded back in 2006. We are a network of tailgates from all across the country, representing the biggest, the baddest, the boldest, the most braggadocious group of fans that you're going to find from East Coast to West Coast. I mean, you guys, Bengal Jim's Before the Roar tailgating experience, you'll be joining the ranks of iconic tailgates such as Swoopin' D, representing Thunder Alley in the Los Angeles area, Oakland's Bad Boys of Barbecue, the Tub Gators in Detroit, Da Bus in Chicago, What the Buck in Tampa, Hail Barbecue, Washington, D.C., and from my hometown of Buffalo, New York, Kenny Pinto Ron Johnson, the innovator and beginner of the 16-pound shot, his 16-pound bowling ball shot. We have almost 60 tailgates in the Hall of Fame, and you guys have earned your spot. I've been talking to Jimmy over the last several years. I came down and visited you last year. In my opinion, and the opinion of many within our organization, Bengal Jim's Before the Roar tailgating experience is absolutely a Hall of Fame tailgate, and it is my honor and my privilege to induct you guys into the Tailgating Hall of Fame. So typically, this is it's a military-style challenge coin, so it would come with a hearty handshake as I hand you your coins. I was not able to do that this time because of this global pandemic. The other tradition is that I typically sing the Tailgating Hall of Fame fight song, Protect Our Shield. But I'm going to make an exception today because of what I saw in that field yesterday. I hear that Bengal growling, mean and angry, here he comes a prowling, lean and hungry, an offensive brute, run past our boat, and defensively he's rough, tough, Cincinnati Bengals, that's the team we're gonna cheer to victory. Touchdown Bengals, put some points up on that board and win the game for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations to you guys.
Man, thanks, brother. We're honored to be part of this, man. This is a really cool thing, man, and we love you, man. And we'll share a little bit more, but Hans is a huge Buffalo fan, living in Michigan, man, and we're happy for you, brother. And I think our victory last night over those dreaded Pittsburgh Steelers put you in a better seed, right?
Yes, it did. We moved from 3rd to 2nd, so we're very excited.
That's what we do here, Hans. We help out the Buffalo Bills every year, it seems like.
Yeah.
Buffalo's the real deal, man. They look great. You must be excited.
Yeah, you guys have kind of, I mean, that's what you do, right? Andy Dalton a couple years back put us in the playoffs. This time you moved us into the 2nd seed. I mean, we can't ask for a better friendship and better synergy than with those Cincinnati Bengals. I love Cincinnati. We were there last year, spent some time in the old German area of town. Really enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
Yep. Well, brother, man, it means a lot. We can't wait till this pandemic gets through and we can join you and have a beer with you, buddy. Thanks again, man. We appreciate it. This is fun.
Sounds good. Congratulations, guys. You earned it.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate
it.
He even sang that better than when we had him on the show in the summer.
Yeah.
He's getting better. He is getting better.
Practice. It was good.
And I don't know if you said it this time, Jimmy, but Hans, in all his infinite wisdom, knows everybody's fight songs. I barely know ours. I mean, I know it, but God bless him.
Didn't we quizzed him on that last time he was on the show?
That's funny.
All teams and he sang them.
And I didn't realize that not every team doesn't have a fight song. I thought every team did.
Speaking of that, you remember sitting in Miami 2 weeks ago? Miami has the worst. Jamie, you're just gonna have to Google this, and everybody that's watching that's never been to a game in Miami will have to Google this. But Miami might have the lamest, most boring fight song I have ever heard. And the worst part about it is, I think we had it in our heads leaving the game but it is terrible. Just Google it. When you're bored and you just want to get depressed even more, listen to the Miami Fight Song.
And it's not like they play it after a touchdown. I can get that. They play it like every 10 minutes for no reason. First down, play the song. They got 2-yard game, play the song. It was awful. It was by far the worst fight song in the history of football.
Oh, well, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, if you can, let's go ahead and get to these duck races here. I do have, tell you to get in quickly, put my name in. Give me 2 spots. Kevin Braun.
Oh, that's your Canadian friend, Jamie.
Yeah, that's right. You have to give me a minute to set this up, then, Jimmy. If we're out of
no problem. Take your time. I just we got 2 more.
So we have 2 left. Or are we sold out?
We got 8. We're up to 18, and to be honest, we're going to go with when he gets us up. We're just going to roll with it.
I'm sorry. What's Kevin?
Kevin Braun. Mm-hmm.
Braun. Yeah, he's going to be 17 and 18.
He'll be 17 and 18. Right.
Okay. Are we doing anybody else, or
let's just go with that? 18. 18. So I can't do the math. I got my calculator here. 25 times 18, guys. $450 to Toys or Tots this year. So normally what we do every year is we have a toy drive for Toys or Tots down to Tailgate over a couple weeks prior to Christmas, and we we'll have people just bring toys down, and we'll have the Marines come and pick it up. And we've done it every year for quite a few years. And obviously this year with the limited capacity at the games, limited folks allowed at the tailgate, all those things, we couldn't do our normal tailgate. Normal donation to Toys or Tots. So we'll just do a financial contribution here. $450 goes a really long way towards helping us out. And again, I just want to be very clear on Tony the Tiger and Carrie, extremely generous individuals. This jersey right here, last week, the Tyler Boyd jersey autographed, this Ken Anderson 70 era white jersey, which is kind of unique because you don't really see Kenny signing anything other than the black 70s jerseys. That's normally what you see. So this white one is fairly unique with his autograph on it. Really cool. So we appreciate you, Tony and Carrie. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. I mean, there's been this $450 will put us over the $10,000 donation for charity, guys. And again, it's not me, it's not James or Jamie here, guys. It is everybody viewing and watching. The charity focus is so fun for us to be able to make an impact on these charities. It's just a lot of fun seeing it. And if you guys remember us, we had Ken Anderson Alliance on. That was kind of one of our biggest focuses this year. Kevin Potts from the Alliance. Almost welled up, tear-eyed, basically, just the contribution that we made, you guys did to the Ken Anderson line goes a long way in helping these guys, especially during this situation in COVID where they haven't been able to get together and do charity events. And that's how they usually get their funds ready to roll. So we good there, Jamie?
Yeah, so we got everybody that's in the draw. So there's 18 people here. We're going to hit done. We want to do another minute long.
Let's do another minute. We got James, our duck caller here.
All right. Ready, get set, and go.
Green flag. We talked to some 5 people purchased their tickets at the tailgate last night. What I learned is you do not want your duck to lead early. So Tad, number 9 or 8.
I did one of these last night for a PlayStation 5 giveaway. And the duck at the very end, just the last 2 seconds, it just came all the way from the back.
Strawberry duck there, number 11.
What are you at? Yeah, I like that one.
Got the clown. Kevin's making a run on the outside there. Is that the post? I'm not into horse racing. Is that the post?
I'm cheering for the clown duck. I want the clown duck to win.
Dude.
It's back there.
Poor pirate. Pirate.
Duck.
Number 1.
Tad, you're winning. Tad, I'm sorry. I mean, it's too early to be out that far.
Early.
Sorry,
Dr. Duck. Dr. Duck is leading too early. Uh-oh.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, boy.
From the back.
Oh, John. Congratulations. John was on the Jumbotron last night at the stadium and has purchased some tickets before, and now's his lucky time. So congratulations, John, on winning the red, purple hair spiked duck.
Is that the punk rock duck? What is that?
That's the punk rock duck. So send us a message. we'll get you taken care of. John's a regular at the tailgate, the socially distanced tailgate in 2020. So congratulations to John. He finally won one. Persistency pays off. And again, thanks to Anthony and Carrie for getting that all set up.
Yeah. So guys, real quick, I want to be clear. Just make sure you direct message us, whether social media formats works best for you, with your name and your address and all that. And we'll make sure we get this jersey out to you, and we'll throw some koozies in there, some other little fun things that'll surprise you when you get it. But guys, $450 for Toys or Tots. You know what, when I think about it, James, all the toys that we have gotten, just say last year, I mean, these dollars will go a long way as well. Just not just the toys that we were given that were donated last year, but the $450 will go a long way helping these.
Yeah,
guys.
I remember, last year, again, all of our fans, attendees, fellow Bengals fans, just remember we had garbage bags full of toys. So, goes to what you said earlier. They're just beyond generous, over 10,000 raised this year. And, looking forward to some exciting things in 2021, an event like we've never done before. Hopefully all the craziness is behind us, and we'll be able to announce that sooner than later. But again, appreciate everyone that made the duck race possible. Stay tuned. Just might have another one next week or following the Baltimore game. And again, everybody that donates to charity, we sincerely appreciate it.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, guys. So we had Hans on. We got inducted to the Tailgate Hall of Fame. Very cool. Carl Pickens, probably around that 8:30 time frame. Question of the week we'll hit on here. We're going to get into the game conversation, obviously, from yesterday, and have some interaction with you guys on that. But right now, we're going to go to our Bengal History 101. We're going to talk about, we had a Christmas miracle yesterday. There's been several Christmas miracles in Cincinnati football history, guys. And Tom and I will go over and kind of go over a couple of those games. Both of these Christmas miracles we're going to talk about today came in the dark ages of the 90s, right in the middle of the 90s. Tom, what's going on, buddy?
Merry Christmas, guys. Jimmy, where's your Christmas sweater?
Oh yeah, it's too small.
He has
put mine on. James sent me a Christmas sweater in the off season. I totally forgot to put it on for tonight.
Yeah, I looked for my Rudolph sweater. I couldn't find it. But Tom, you had an interesting note in this chat here. There's monster controversy over the Miami fight song that Jimmy and I made fun of. Can you fill us in?
That came to be in the 80s. Right about the same time, the Oilers had some really good teams with Earl Campbell. And since that song's in your head, I'm definitely not going to sing it. That's already been done once tonight. And you guys have a lot of viewers. You don't want to start losing them. But about that same time, Houston had the same fight song, just substituting Houston Oilers for Miami Dolphins. Except I think it ended like Houston Oilers #1. And Miami claimed it was their song. Houston claimed it was their song, and it was like a fight for 3 or 4 years while both teams were good and making the playoffs every year.
Wow. It does mention the Super Bowl, which I find interesting. But going back, that makes sense back in the 80s there. But yeah, interesting. See, you learned something new on Bengals Gyms, and we're going to learn something new on our History 101 section.
All right, Tom. So we've got two quick little videos. We're going to go over each of these. So 1994, 1995, the two Christmas miracle games we're going to talk about. Jamie, we got a clip from 1994 one first. I hope I put that in order. 94 Christmas. Go ahead and play this video clip, and Tom and I will kind of break into this game.
Looking into the end zone, throwing over the middle. One by Pickens, 5-yard line. Goes to the goal line and goes in. Touchdown, Cincinnati. He's got the pitch back now, cuts inside, Harold Wayne goes to the and Tony McGee contributed with his first NFL touchdown. Drops to throw, he's going to be rushed. He's going to throw, it is caught for a touchdown. Oh, McGee! No buts about it. This game bore the markings of another wild finish. Facing 4th down and 16 late in the game, Blake's extra effort kept the drive alive. The rock-solid Doug Pelfrey was then summoned to preserve the Bengal season. Johnson checks with Pelfrey. He's ready. Teams lined up and set the ball. A snap plays down and booted. It is through the uprights and going. With the kickoff merely a formality before overtime, Cincinnati suddenly found itself on the positive end of the year's most bizarre play. Johnson's kick is down the center of the field. And it'll be fielded by one of the guys who fumbled the football. The Bengals have it. And we'll see exactly. They do have it. Yes. They have the ball at the 55-yard line. Then, in a fitting end to their roller coaster season, it all came down to one play and 1 second. Johnson will hold. Teams line up and set the ball. A snap, place down and moving. High it up, deep it up, and oh! Oh my gosh! Don just kicked the Bengals to a win in the most improbable fashion. There is mayhem.
So, Tom, that was a lot of fun. I know you and I were both there at that game. But go ahead and let's talk about that '94 Christmas miracle. Literally a freaking miracle.
After a very, very ugly season, a very frustrating season, just like they called there. A couple things that they didn't show in the highlights like that. Jeff Blake was giving out presents that he normally didn't do left and right. Unfortunately, in the first half, it was a pick six. It was an interception. He did not have his best day. But when he was able to complete them, it was mainly to your guest tonight, Carl Pickens. 9 receptions, 135 yards, over the middle, in the corner of the end zone. He was strong. He was quick. He was everything. They had special team problems. Herschel Walker returned a kick, I think about 96 yards for a touchdown. It was an ugly game for those type of Bengals, but excitement there at the end. It was one of the most exciting plays and as good a scramble as you're going to see. Jeff Blake running 16 yards and stretching the ball out and just getting the nose of the ball for the first down to keep the drive alive, to give Pelfrey a chance to tie it. And then when Lee Johnson kicked the onside kick, the Eagles actually had most of their hands team on there. Brian O'Neill was a good fullback out of Penn State who fumbled that. And I think, truthfully, in Cincinnati, we don't apologize for wins or breaks. I think the clock keeper really wanted to get home for Christmas Eve because it went from 3 seconds to 1 second. And Doug Pelfrey was able to come in and still an NFL record, 2 field goals in 3 seconds, and I don't think it'll ever be broken.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing about that game, Tom, it was Tim Crumry's last game as a Cincinnati Bengal. If you remember, the Bengals got him a motorcycle that I think he drove off the field at halftime.
Last member of the franchise to be carried off the field.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So that game, I remember like it was yesterday. It was a little cold down there. A lot of people had left. It was the last game of the year. But that was a fun one. So back-to-back years, Tom, in 1995, Jamie, if you could play that clip from 1995. We went back-to-back years of Christmas miracles here. So let's play this clip from 95.
Breaks that time, but in the second half, Bengals have scored once to make it 24-10. Jeff Blake to Tony McGee. He's chopped this big tight end 16 yards. Jeff Blake to Carl Slim Pickens. Makes the catch. 1st and 10. Back to McGee. A little dump pass. McGee, powerful, Tommy, for 14 yards. And then watch Pickens play here.
Yeah, Pickens at the back of the end zone. Look at the concentration and right there keeping his feet in bounds at the same time.
24-17 in the fourth quarter. It's a flat shot, but instead it's he slips. It's 38-yard field goal, no good. So it's just a 7-point lead. 3rd and goal. 8 minutes to go. Blake to McGee. Touchdown. 5 yards. We're tied at 24. 2:10 left. The normally reliable Fuad Rebays maybe thinking of the slip. Pulls this 26-yard field goal, no good, and we stay tied. Last chance for the Bengals and Jeff Blake. 3rd and 9. You want to see something well done? It's David Dunn just over the first down barrier. Blake to Pickens as the drive continues 15 yards. It's time for Doug Batson to Pelfrey. Can he kick a 51-yarder at the end of the game? It's long enough. It's deep enough. It's good! The Bengals win at 27-24.
Never happens without the great hold of Lee Johnson right there.
And watch this. Pelfrey will kick a 50-plus field goal up.
So, Tom, before we get into that game, what was really cool, I somehow got on the field that game. I just was I befriended a photographer And I kind of followed him into the stadium, and we got all the way in. Nobody's security was kind of lax back then. And he goes, just hang around me the whole game. Just act like you're my, carry my bag for me. You're my assistant today. So I literally was on the field the whole game. And I just remember, Chris Carter almost running me over, running out of bounds. Warren Moon was the quarterback that day for the Vikings, if you remember. But I was in the end zone with that field goal, and we ran onto the field. But that was a fun day. I will never forget that because I was on the field the entire game that day. So, Tom, that was a crazy game.
It was a crazy game. We saw a couple things there that went into the first game too. Jeff Blake doing something he normally doesn't do. He was throwing the ball to Tony McGee. Jeff did not have a reputation as a quarterback that hit his tight end or utilized his tight end as a receiver. Tony McGee had a lot of clutch catches in that game. David Dunn had a really clutch catch later in the game to keep a drive going. I think it was 3rd and 10. He caught it about 9 yards down and was able to fight just barely for a first down. So he was pitching to everybody. This was a little different than the Philly game the year before. This was a back and forth. The teams battled the whole time, and the Bengals came up with a stand in the fourth quarter, and then the win. And as much as we'll always give credit to Doug Pelfrey, I mean, it's got to be a staple on your shirt. I mean, this is A Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol, Die Hard. I mean, these are Christmas classics. The hero of that 95 game, if you watch closely, was on Pelfrey's winning field goal. It was a bad snap, and it not only hit the ground, it skipped toward Lee Johnson. He not only caught it, but he was able to get it, spin it in perfect rhythm for Pelfrey to hit the field goal. So really, he was the hero. And I always remember, same as the year before, all of my group, as soon as that ball went through the uprights, we all turned and ran to our cars, to get home for Christmas. But the Hallelujah chorus, blaring through Riverfront.
I mean, that was every bit the miracle of the 94 game. And even last night, Tom, the Bengals getting that. So, yeah, somebody had made a mention of another game, and I can't find it in the lot of stuff going on. If we're looking at all the chat area with all three of the social medias kind of combined here. But the Washington field goal in 88. Was that Christmas Eve that week?
I think it would have been, but the Bengals played on Saturday that weekend. They were in the national game on Saturday.
Okay.
So they played a day early. I guess if you could say part of that miracle was, had the Bills won Sunday of that year, they would have had the tiebreaker to have given them home field advantage. It had the Bengals lost. So that win gave the Bengals, home field advantage, which was big. And something for New Year's we'll talk about next year, it wasn't a miracle, but the New Year's Eve win over the Seattle Seahawks and baby New Year Joe Nash.
Yep. I remember that. Well, Tom, we appreciate it, bud. I know we got some stuff on the table for next week as well. So we'll kind of tease that here later in the show towards the end, but we appreciate you. Mind hanging around a little bit here, Tom, with us?
No problem.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So go ahead, Jamie.
Sorry, is Tom staying on? I missed that.
Yeah, he can stay on. It's okay. It doesn't matter to me either way.
Let's ask him the question of the week. I think this is the perfect time.
All right, here we go. Question of the week this week, guys. Did last night's win against the Steelers save Zac Taylor's job? If you'd like to answer, put it in the chat. We'll bring it up on the screen. Let's throw to our historian on the panel. We'll throw it over to Tom.
Guys, as we've kind of speculated on and off the air together, I'm not completely convinced Zac Taylor's job was in jeopardy. I think that was probably a decision for the end of the year. It certainly helped. I hope they consider the whole body. We're staring at probably, from a historical standpoint, worst years back-to-back history of the team. Undermanned. It was incredible. I mean, that'll be a game for Bengal lore forever. I mean, it was like the Alamo. They were undermanned, a third-string quarterback, a backup running back, backup offensive lineman. The real heroes were the Bengals defensive line, who lined up and kicked the snot out of the Steelers offensive line. It was just absolutely beautiful. Putting it in Christmas terms, it was Ralphie finally beating the shit out of Vargas. It was fantastic.
It was good.
And the Steelers, Merry Christmas.
James, where's your head at?
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know. You got to talk
No,
about it. Dude.
I think it was a pipe dream of mine, and I'm not going to speak for Jamie, but for Jamie, that Zac was going to be packing and headed somewhere other than South Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana border. And, they won. Congrats. We're still in the third pick, which is good. And if we had to win one game out of these last three, nothing better than winning in prime time Monday Night Football against our hated friends from the state of Pennsylvania. So, as Tom alluded to, it was a dream of ours that he was on the hot seat. At the end of the day, he probably wasn't. And yes, he's back like a bad rash for next year, whether we like it or not.
Jamie, let's hear your take on this.
So Tom's right. Tom and Jimmy have been saying this. His job was probably not in jeopardy to begin with. James and I have been holding up the hope that it was. So my answer to this is, in Cincinnati, yes, his job is safe. Any other city, it wouldn't matter. Like, Adam Gase will not be the coach of the New York Jets at the end of the season. That win against the Rams, although crazy and great for the not great for the franchise, actually cost them the first round pick, but that's not going to save his job. And someone in the chat said, and I'll bring it up after, I hope they look at the whole body of work. And if you look over the last 2 years, there's no case to be made for Zac Taylor to keep his job, in my opinion. But he'll be back.
On to the positive top right square, Jimmy.
Because it's Cincinnati, he's back.
You know what? I hear you're the only two talking about firing him after a win last night. I'm just saying. I mean, it's so funny to watch social media after a win and loss, man. It's the world's coming to an end, and then the Bengals win and everything's great, right? Like I said, I think he was going to be here next year anyhow. But guys, what's unique about that game yesterday, and my man Pac-Man changed his mind. If you remember 2 weeks ago, Pac-Man was getting him out of town. Just get him out. Yeah, AJ. And then last night, he's on there saying, since you beat the Steelers, you get one more year. You get one more year, Zac. But the passion around, you had Pac-Man talking about it. You had Dre Kirkpatrick, doesn't even play for the Bengals anymore, plays for another team, was watching the game, and he was doing his own social media video. Dude, these guys have passion around this game and that playing these Steelers, man. It was kind of fun watching and hearing that. But to see the Bengals team physically dominate all three aspects, they beat them up on defense, they beat them up on offense. They out physical the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then when you got Juju Smith-Poo Schuster, whatever the heck his name is, dancing at the 50-yard line on the Bengals logo and just gets thumped. The best day of social media of the year right now. It's been fun watching that. So I think he's back, man. I think the guys have played hard for him. They haven't won. They're missing so many starters on both sides of the ball. It's not a lack of these guys quitting on Coach Taylor. That's not the issue at all.
Rah, Jimmy.
Did you guys see the video of him in the dressing room after? I just didn't like. I don't know, man. The passion and the intensity is just not there for me. Like, it just that locker room did not look like a team that just beat the Steelers on Monday night. That's something that the Bengals have a hard time doing. It just, I don't know. But hey, you know what? We won. We won in prime time. Christmas came early. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what people are saying. No. Jeff says yes. Michael says his job is good until the end of the year, regardless, unfortunately. LOL. Even as these 2 seasons have been, no, Taylor was not in jeopardy. Anthony, it didn't hurt, but I think he's here for 2021 no matter what. Mike can't bring himself to fire anyone. Last night is what he needed to keep Zac. I agree with this. One good game does not a good coach make. Nice. I like the way they worded that.
I thought Canadians were positive people. You and Kevin there. I'm just saying.
I am positive. I'm positive Zac Taylor's in over his head. I love my team, but I want a captain steering the ship. It was safe before. Worse was going to be some assistants getting cut. I hope and pray Lou and Turner are gone. Let's see here. if our DBs had better hands, we would have set a record last night. Not only saved Zach's job, but definitely coordinator Lou also.
Gosh. That's the last thing we need.
Here we go. You ready for this one? I think the Steelers lost on purpose, just so. I actually did see. I saw a couple people post that last night.
And we want
was playing the long game here. Keep vision for another year.
And I'm jealous of Carmen there. You can put her picture back up. Her and her husband are from the Dakotas. They made a nice stop through Cincinnati about 4 weeks ago, picked up their Fat Randy shirts. There's reason number 17 that Zach should be fired. He didn't put Fat Randy in for stupid Cleveland kicker who missed one last night. Anyways, but Carmen's just floating down somewhere in the Bahamas in the Caribbean, tuning into Bengal Jim show. She sent us a cute picture of, I believe, her niece and nephew in the Bengal Jim Fat Randy t-shirt. So thank you for tuning in, and safe travels as you're floating around the Caribbean, Carmen.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I think overwhelmingly the chat agrees that his job was most likely not in jeopardy to begin with.
Listen, Jamie, I don't know if you've experienced this, but we've had a couple funerals at some Bengal Jim tailgates before, and it took burning pictures, it took caskets, and it finally got rid of it. If it comes to that, we could do that again.
I was actually there. The last game I came down to with you guys, well, actually not the last game, but Steelers game, it was cold and rainy, and you guys did a Marvin Lewis funeral, I'm pretty sure.
I still have the eulogy somewhere on my phone.
There was definitely some Marvin Lewis fired vibes that were for sure.
Management. No.
Oh, yeah. Second half adjustments or lack thereof. And yeah.
Keep the glass half full of eggnog. I'll give, and I'm not a big Lou booster. I still think our pass rush has been awful overall his entire tenure here, but he had a great game plan last night. And I'm not with the national media, so I can say this. The Bengals won. All I heard today was how the Steelers lost, but the Bengals won. The undermanned defensive line, like I said, lined up and just knocked their offensive line in the mouth. And kept pushing him back, kept getting penetration, kept putting just, enough pressure on Roethlisberger. First time we've seen that all year. There was a very good defensive scheme last night. The offensive scheme was obviously, we're going to run. Ryan Finley can't throw for 100 yards, and he didn't. He didn't disappoint. But he played as hard as he could. That zone read touchdown was fantastic. They did what they had to do, not just to win, but they pretty much dominated the Steelers. But, with that, the Steelers have gone from undefeated to now. Who wouldn't want to play the Steelers?
Yeah, potentially losing 4 in a row. A tough matchup against the Colts this week, who are playing good. And, Ben just looks a different quarterback. A lot of the national media I was listening to today as I was driving back from Columbus, Ohio, gave the Bengals credit. Certainly talked about the skid that the Steelers were on, but just I think if you look at Ben, and we've all seen him for the last however many years he's been in the league, he just seemed to sit in that pocket last night and went down easy, which is not the typical Ben Roethlisberger we're used to. Usually he'll make 2 men miss, another one, he'll drag 4 yards, and then he'll run for another 10. And we just didn't see that typical Ben last night. I don't know if it's injury, if the end of the season's catching up with him. There was talk last year of him calling it quits after that elbow surgery. He's been in the league a long time. He's taken his share of hits. Certainly has a big body to do so, but maybe what is this 18th year in the NFL now that it's finally catching up with him.
So guys, just a real quick update for everybody. So we kind of knew going into the show that there was Carl may have had a problem getting on tonight. So we're still waiting on Carl. I've got some messages in right now. So I've got some of his teammates actually getting a hold of him as we're talking right now. So we're still trying to push to get Carl Pickens on here, but let's keep going with this conversation, guys. I think, as you look at, Tom made a good point on the defensive line, guys. been horrifically one of the worst defensive lines we've seen in Bengals history. I mean, they've been awful getting pressure on a quarterback. But Carl Lawson last night was an absolute stud. This guy had 9 pressures, 5 quarterback hits. He had a sack, forced fumble. I mean, he was a monster. And when he was an amazing. He had an amazing game last night. He had one of the highest, like a 92 Pro Football Focus ranking number last night was the highest. It was the game of his life, game of his career, NFL career last night.
It just means we're gonna have to pay him even more next season if we want to keep him. That's going to be an interesting offseason discussion.
To agree with James, it might be a topic for early January. But who is free agent priority one? Is it Carl Lawson? Is it
William Jackson? Yeah.
We do have a couple guys we really need to keep so we don't create other holes.
I think for me, guys, like seeing the Jets win and seeing the Bengals win, I think, at least for me, reiterates the fact that these guys do want to win. Players want to win. I hate the whole idea of tanking. I think it goes against everything we're taught about sports and competition growing up. But it just goes to show you, like, obviously, Cincinnati winning, it doesn't do anything for us this year. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to – if we win, we get a better draft pick or anything like that. But they hate the Steelers. They hate the Steelers and what's left to play for this year. And it's your pride. So I think we saw that last night. We saw guys making plays that they have not made all year long. And they showed up. And then same thing with the Jets. I mean, I know we're obviously talking about the Bengals, but the Jets coming out and winning and actually ruining their chance for Trevor Lawrence, at least as it stands right now. I don't think those guys are thinking about that on the sideline. Maybe the front office is thinking about it. But I think the players, I think at the end of the day, nobody wants to be on a team that hasn't won a game all year. Nobody wants to be on a team that doesn't show, at least on tape, that there's something there to build upon. So I just think for me, like watching them win last night, I just think just goes to show, regardless if they're buying into Zac Taylor or not, which I don't think they are personally, but it shows that the guys actually do want to win. I think that as a fan, that's great. That's great to see.
And one thing we didn't touch on, Tyler Boyd, went out early in that game. Obviously, he's had a great season, concussion, short week. It'd be interesting to see if he's back at Houston. And one thing, too, as we look forward to the game this weekend, with Zach, 0-15 on the road in 2 years. So this is his one chance to kind of get off that schneid with one last road game. And, we'll see if we can do it. Houston's a different team after they fired Bill O'Brien. I think the troops maybe have rallied around Romeo Cornell there a little bit. A couple weeks ago, they had a chance to beat the Colts. Colts handled them pretty easily last week. But, Houston's still playing hard, and it's going to be a good matchup this week.
Hey, Joe in the chat makes a good point here. They had energy. You couldn't knock the smile off number 5. I'm fully expecting whoever the largest dentist is in Cincinnati to start him. You can never tell. The guy has just always got has a smile on his face. You don't know if he's in pain or if he's actually just can't believe he's out there playing Monday Night Football against the Steelers.
He was smart completions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this. So obviously, if Carl comes on, we're going to bring him on, guys. This is what happens when you do stuff live. Stuff like this can happen. You never know. But I do want to.
We pre-recorded the one earlier in the season with. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank?
CJ Uzama. We were pre-recorded. Yep.
Yeah.
So I do want to hit. Let's talk about Carl Pickens here because we got some video clips. We're going to a couple things here I do want to hit on, and I think it's interesting. I'm everybody kind of hang with us on this. So it's funny when he played for Tennessee. He went University of Tennessee. He had his freshman year was 1989, and he was a safety. He had 5 interceptions his freshman year. So this guy was just a phenomenal athlete. And this guy was the face of the franchise, him and Jeff Blake. I mean, I've got Jesus. I mean, this is the Bengals media guide. Him and Jeff Blake are on there. I mean, he's on everything that gets sent out here by the Bengals. And obviously got our starting lineup, Carl Pickens. There's all kinds of stuff. Carl Pickens in the mid-90s was the face of this organization. I mean, he was the real deal. But I want to talk a couple things here. I want to show one of the video clips, and we're going to talk about what Carl Pickens may be the most famous for in Cincinnati. But let's play the clip number clip number 2, if you could, Jamie.
Sure.
Down the mid-12. We got to get it downfield. Long ball thrown downfield. Pickens looks back at it. Pickens gets it. He's in open field. Inside the 40. He's out of bounds at the down in 12. That's the high ball I'm talking about. How about a high ball? Call 911. This throw up there and let your 7-foot, 1-inch high jumper bring it down. Slam the ball down. They got a first down. But He's watching the ball to Pickens. He's got the ball. He's fouled, and he steps in for a touchdown. Penalty marker down, but it looked to us like Pickens was fouled. We talk about cool. He caught the ball, then slided in. This is Bruce.
That'd be a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty.
Yeah. Yeah. So that game right there was in 1998. The Bengals are losing with 20 seconds left on the clock, 18-20 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was Neil O'Donnell at quarterback for our Cincinnati Bengals, who used to be the quarterback prior with the Steelers. But what's crazy, that first play that you saw was a 4th and 12 from like our own 10-yard line, and Neil O'Donnell just throws that ball up, and Pickett could always high point the ball better than anybody. 4th and 12 gets that, and then the whole fake spike throwing the touchdown, game over. I mean, he had 13 catches, over 200 yards receiving that game against the Steelers. He owned them. They're the defensive back there. His last name was Washington. I forget his first name, but he, Tom, I think he got cut the next day because Carl Pickens used him.
Yeah. Pickens abused him that entire game. I think that might have been Pick's biggest game of his career. More yards than a single game. But, that was it. He really, really got in sync with Jeff Blake. But you saw on those basically Hail Marys, Carl Pickens really kind of made Jeff Blake. Jeff was perfect at lofting the ball up, and he was fantastic at jumping so high and being so strong to come out with it. Nobody could out-muscle him. In 95, he was first-team All-Pro, and deservedly so. I mean, he was money inside the 15-yard line.
I mean, in 92, this guy was Rookie of the Year in the NFL. I'm telling you guys this, and he played on some horrific. You think the Bengals are bad right now, guys? Let me tell you. They had no shot at winning games in the 90s unless crazy stuff like that happened. But that game right there, we had to play that one after beating the Steelers yesterday. The Bengals beating the Steelers that day was again, Tom, we were at that game as well, man. We didn't miss a game at that dark ages of the 90s, but that was a fun day. And I got to ask the next question about a Carl Pickens question here to James. So what was the name of one of your fantasy football teams? You said
one of my fantasy football teams was called the Carl Pickens Clause. We didn't win a championship. We were probably comparable to the Bengals. I maybe won 3 or 4 games, and so I had to change the name. But about 4 or 5 years ago, that was my fantasy football team name.
So you guys can look this up, okay? But what's real funny about this, Tom will be able to add some insight on this one as well. There was an interview that you can go Google and go to YouTube and find, and he's literally ripping Bruce Coslett. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Basically, he's an idiot. I've been here. I mean, he was like stuff you never see a player do, like out of control. And then they were throwing questions back to Bruce Coslett and said, did he really say that? I mean, it was really bad. Well, basically what the Brown family did, I think it was Mike Brown, put a clause in his contract that basically you cannot badmouth the organization to the public. If you want to badmouth, that's fine. Let's keep it in-house. But since Carl Pickens, they put that in his clause, basically he would have to forfeit his signing bonuses basically in his contract if he did that again. So literally it was called the Carl Pickens Clause. And they used that for other players as well, but that was the name of the clause.
It was, and that rant, the bottom line of that was clearly he questioned why Bruce Coslett was coming back. He said Bruce Coslett did not relate to the players. He was taking on too much responsibility. He was keeping them from winning. Truthfully, I don't think Pick was wrong at that time, but it got him a ticket out of town, and it cost him quite a bit of his bonus. So he ended up going to Tennessee, and he was the man here, and he was just kind of a guy there. And in a year or two, he was out of the league.
Yeah, so he went after the Bengals and played for the Bengals from 92 to 99. set all kinds of Bengal records, still has a lot of these Bengal records, top 5 in most every receiving category in Bengal history, top 3 mostly. Where's it going with that? Total receptions. But he went from the Bengals in 99. He went to the Titans for 1 year in 2000. He actually went to
Dallas.
He went to Dallas, but he didn't get it off he didn't even get on the regular roster, basically.
Right.
So, but I won't play any more videos because we will get Pick on at some point, guys. All right. When I talked to him last week, he was actually pretty excited about it. We exchanged some emails. Sent some reminders today and everything. So I apologize, Pick not being here, but we'll kind of round back to him on that. I think we have some other stuff people are asking questions on there on our feed right now.
So David asked, wasn't Pickens pregame reach to eat hot dogs? Who can confirm or deny this? Anybody?
Tom?
I think that it came from one of the NFL Films did a kind of a focus on him one week when he was having his big year in 95, and he was trying to get somebody on the training staff. He was hungry, and he wanted him to go up and get him a hot dog. So I never heard about any other ritual. Just I remember him saying he was hungry and he could smell the hot dogs and they smelled good. And could the guy go up and get him one?
I do remember that, Tom. I do remember that. That's funny. So the other thing too, what's crazy on is he was the first NFL player, understand, on a very bad Bengals team in the 90s, the first NFL player to record 5 receptions and receiving touchdowns in 8 straight games. So, and at least one touchdown, 5 receptions, at least 1 touchdown in 8 straight games. That had never happened in the NFL prior to Pickens doing that. So this guy was a special talent. He was a stud at Tennessee, Rookie of the Year in 92. And if you remember, several weeks back, we had Willie Anderson, actually last month, Willie Anderson and Anthony Munoz on the show. And Willie Anderson was talking about Carl Pickens. The perception you would get as a fan of Carl Pickens that he was just rude. He wasn't a very nice guy. And Willie Anderson painted a completely opposite picture of that. Talking about when they would get on the bus, they said Willie Anderson's quote was, "Pick should have been a comedian." I'm like, what? If you remember the story he told about, he would get on the bus with the team bus and get the mic and start ripping on the coaches and ripping on other players, and they would just be rolling laughing. But the players that we've talked to about Pickens have that same feel that Willie Anderson does about Pickens, the side that you don't get to see. And why was it one of the reasons I was excited about getting him on tonight, so people could kind of see Carl on this side of the, not in uniform, because he was a great conversation last week with me, but anything else to add, guys, on Pick? We're going to save the rest of this stuff when we actually get him on. So
yeah, we're going to get him on. And for the fans watching, we do apologize. A lot of different things can happen, especially when we're live with technology. And, a lot of these guys that we're bringing on, these guys, this was before cell phones and video streaming and stuff like that. So we've been very fortunate. This is the first time that this has happened, but we'll schedule. We'll get it back on here for you guys.
Yep, good stuff. All right, guys. I don't. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, man. The Bengals get a W yesterday on Monday Night Football against the dreaded Steelers. So that was a great day. Waking up this morning, felt really good driving to work. I put my Bengal socks on and took off to work. And every appointment I had today, I let everybody see my socks.
So I have a question for you guys. So you guys were at the game. Jim and James at the game. Tom, you weren't at the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So was 6,000 fans? Is that what they were allowed?
12.
So for all of us who unfortunately couldn't be there, can you tell us about the atmosphere of the game? Did it feel like it was a full stadium when it was very clear that the Bengals were going to win? What was the atmosphere like?
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom, you go first.
I think there was a lot of energy. I mean, it wasn't like when there's a full stadium there. There's nothing in this city that gets this city going like when the Bengals are winning and everybody's behind them. There was a lot of energy. It wasn't like a full house. I know that the Steeler fans look like rats on a sinking ship with about 3 minutes to go. They were getting out of there quick to beat the traffic to get back to East Ohio, or if their luck's really bad, Pittsburgh itself. But no, there was energy. It wasn't like a full house. And I think the people that have come down this year, have been very supportive. So it's been a pretty good year. Really about the only good thing about not having a bunch of fans there every week is, quick lines at the concession and where you got to. I'll be very happy in the fall when it'll be a full house in the jungle again.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at last night, you look at that at the beginning of the year, you expected, man, it's going to be just crazy. Obviously, the season hasn't turned out the way we all wanted it to. Good contingency of Bengals fans, strong turnout, as good as Pittsburgh's been this year. Surprised there wasn't more. You could definitely hear them when the few good plays that Pittsburgh made and waving them stupid yellow things over their head or whatever they do. So, it's, this whole year has been different. Just looking at it from game one to where we're at now, I don't think it had the 2020 Monday Night Football energy because of 2020, excuse me. But, Monday Night Football's still cool, tailgating, under the lights in the dark and, not having to get up early and rush in and do all that. So it was fun, big win, but definitely not the same energy that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it's funny because again, we always go to a lot of away games and you run into some idiot fans everywhere you go. I have this theory: every city has this percentage of fans that are just assholes.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers probably one of the higher percentage ones, in my opinion. Say that again.
Still the family hour.
Yep. It's still, yeah, but we, but the few fans that were next to us, the Steeler fans that were next to us in the stands were outstanding. They were very appreciative. They were very appreciative of. They weren't being, idiots about anything. They were great. Now on the walk back to the tailgate area, back to our car, there was a lot of upset Pittsburgh fans because some Bengal fans were kind of yapping at them, and they were not happy. That's a long drive back for those guys. So, and the fans I did talk to from Pittsburgh, they were actually driving back that night. That's not good. That's a long ride. So, well, guys, let's go ahead and close this out, man. Let's go ahead and guys, we're going to get picked back on. We still want to do these shows live, but understand when we do these, sometimes this stuff may happen. We've had some great moments, live moments. And speaking of that, you guys go ahead and make your closing comments, and I'll finish it. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead with your closing comments.
One thing that I was listening to the NFL channel today that I thought was really fitting of last night was the Steelers staff in their locker room had to scurry like mad because they had brought cases and cases of AFC North T-shirts and hats that they had to quickly pack up and hide from the rest of the team. So I thought that was good. But, it was nice to get another Christmas miracle from the Bengals. It's a good way to start off Christmas week in 2020. I think 2021 is going to be, starting with the off season, a much better year. And, just glad everybody has been able to stay healthy, that I'm looking at on the screen. Keep your families healthy and Merry Christmas.
Too.
I'll go before we go to our favorite Canuck up north there. But, big win. I think a lot of Bengals fans were excited. Probably the highlight of the year thus far and what's been otherwise disappointing other than when we took Joe number one back in April. But with that being said, we appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Thanks again for everybody for the donations. If I'm not mistaken, the Pro Bowl was announced today, and I don't think we had any. Yeah, that was a little bit disappointing, but
egregious.
Egregious.
Unbelievable.
So that's that. But just great seeing everybody yesterday, and those that haven't been able to make it, hope you're staying safe, and just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Jamie?
Yeah, so same thing pretty much. Nice to get a win. Little Christmas came early. I was telling the guys before we went live, I had a lot of my friends texting me at halftime congratulating me. And I said, I'm not saying nothing until the game is over. I've learned enough times just to shut up until the game is over. So it was just nice to have that little early Christmas present. 2020 has been it's been a shitty year. Let's just be honest. It's been a challenging year for everybody. I echo what Tom said. I'm glad that my friends on the screen here are staying healthy and nobody in our circle of fans. We know a few people who unfortunately had a rough go with COVID, and I'm glad to see they're healthy and back up on their feet. So yeah, so Merry Christmas. I won't say Happy New Year because I think we're back before New Year's, but I'll say Merry Christmas and hope you guys spend some time with your family, whether it's on Zoom or in person or however you're doing it this year. But yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So with that, guys, the tailgate yesterday was great, man. Probably several hundred less than normal at tailgates, right? But we're still making it fun, and the people there, it is what we make it. And when I say we, everybody that's at the tailgates, you guys are making it fun, man. And it's still been a lot of fun tailgating this year. Next week, another special guest, and I will tell you that he will 100% be here. We have Lewis Breeden coming on with us next week. And Lewis Breeden was an outstanding corner for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he holds a Bengals record we're going to talk about next week. We've got some great video clips to show you. Lewis Breeden will be with us next week. We are also going to go through Jamie and James and I have gone through and since we've been doing the show since March, today is our 34th episode, I think. We have our top 5 most memorable moments on Sunday Night Football with Bengal Jim and Friends that we're going to review. We're going to do our top 5 countdown from 5 to 1. And there's been some great moments, some funny moments, and some outstanding moments on the show. So we already have our list put together. So we hope you join us next week for Lewis Breeden, our most memorable moments on Sunday Night Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. And then Tom Justin and I will hit on some Bengal history. Tom, do we want to give? I think we have a little bit of a tease on that already.
New Year's Eve game, 1988 against the Seahawks.
Yep.
Here, Joe Nash kept faking an injury to no huddle offense.
Yep, we're going to dig into that game and share some clips on that and have some conversation around that. And if you weren't around for that, if you're too young to remember, you're going to want to hear that story about that game. That was a lot of fun. But guys, just stay safe. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Just have fun with your friends and family on Christmas, whatever you guys are doing. Just enjoy yourself. Don't get too stressed about anything, man. Life is good. Everybody that's here, we woke up this morning. That's a good day, guys. So let's take that approach and make sure we tell our friends and family that we love them and stay safe, everybody. We'll see you next week for our New Year's edition episode, our 35th edition. We'll see you next week, guys. Who day?
Merry Christmas, everybody.